Hello and welcome. It's Friday, April the 23rd, and this is your daily devotion from the Greenbrier Valley Church of the Nazarene. Today we are reading from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 1 through 13. Here is the word of the Lord. For I do not want you to be ignorant of the fact, brothers and sisters, that our ancestors were all under the cloud and that they all passed through the sea. They were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. They all ate the same spiritual food and drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank from the spiritual rock that accompanied them, and that rock was Christ. Nevertheless, God was not pleased with most of them. Their bodies were scattered in the wilderness. Now these things occurred as examples to keep us from setting our hearts on evil things as they did. Do not be idolaters, as some of them were, as it was written, the people sit down to eat and drink and got up to indulge in revelry. Do not commit sexual immorality, as some of them did. And in one day 23,000 of them died. We should not test Christ as some of them did, and were killed by stakes. And do not grumble as some of them did, and were killed by the destroying angel. These things happened to them as examples and were written down as warnings for us, on whom the culmination of ages has come. So, if you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. And this is the word of the Lord. The article is titled, Strengthened to Endure. This is what Pastor Jameson writes. Several years ago, our discipleship class engaged in a book study about the persecuted church around the world. We read stories of suffering for the sake of Jesus and the mission of the church. One testimony recounted a young man's experience of torture. While telling of physical abuse and emotional trauma with tears streaming down his face, he began to laugh and sing in the joy of the Lord. In such a brutal context, how could he not succumb to the fear and doubt so understandably tempting? The Spirit of God provided a way out. While not a literal escape from that moment of physical torment, he received strength and faith to endure it. Paul reminds us, we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. And that is from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. In your daily life and work, what are the pressures and perplexities that surround you? What are the temptations that arise from these difficulties? Are you open to the strength and resources God can provide to endure it? Let us stay attentive to the Spirit that we might recognize the way out when we need it. Charles Wesley wrote the hymn for today, Jesus, my strength, my hope. I want a godly fear, a quick discerning eye that looks to Thee when sin is near and sees the tempter fly. And in Romans chapter 4, verses 20 and 21, here's what the Apostle Paul writes. Yet he did not waver through unbelief regarding the promise of God, but was strengthened in his faith and gave glory to God, being fully persuaded that God had power to do what He had promised. And this is your daily devotion for Friday, April the 23rd. Have a blessed day.